I know most of you guys were cheering for Alex, but I still have to say it was very nice. Thank you so much for the great crowd tonight.
$157. That is the floor price on SeatGeek right now for a Monday night quarterfinal at a WTA 1000 event. A quarterfinal featuring the world number 4 and a former Canadian Open champion from Switzerland. Belinda Bencic is the 2015 Canadian Open champion and the reigning WTA Comeback Player of the Year, returning to this tournament as a working mother 11 years after first lifting the trophy here. That is exactly who Toronto's resale market bet against on Sunday night.
I hate to play against lefties. I wish I was a lefty too.
Toronto's 2026 ticket economy was not built around tennis alone. It was built around one player, Alex Ila. Tennis Canada watched Ila's opener sell out in just 30 minutes. Her round of 32 match against Alicia Parks was moved to the 10,000-seat main court after demand blew past 5,000 tickets before the match even began. Sportsnet published coverage explicitly linking Ila to the surge in Toronto demand. The secondary market saw that headline and priced accordingly. Resellers bulk bought quarterfinal inventory on the assumption that the Filipino demand engine would carry through the week. They priced Monday as if Ila would still be in the draw. She was not. At 6-4, 6-0 in just 71 minutes, Bencic did not simply win a round of 16 match. She detonated a spreadsheet. Start with what demand actually looked like before Sunday. Thousands of tickets for Ila's opening matches moved in a single burst. Her second-round match had to be relocated because the assigned court could not handle the crowd. Filipino-Canadian community groups were organizing bulk purchases and travel packages. This was not simply a traditional tennis audience. It was a pilgrimage, and the resellers knew it. That is what made what happened next so brutal for them. Sunday night, Bencic played a match that the tournament may not want to use in its promotional highlight reels. She dropped the first set 6-4, then completely flipped the match and won the second 6-0. That bagel was not just a tennis score. For the resale market, it was the sound of a demand curve collapsing in real time. Ila's 7-match winning streak, the streak that had helped drive attention and ticket demand since Washington, was over. There was no comeback narrative left to sustain the premium prices. Then compare the numbers. Ila's round of 16 resale tickets were commanding 4-figure asking prices across multiple platforms, with a sold-out session and a 10,000-seat crowd. The very next night, a quarterfinal featuring Coco Gauff and Bencic could be found with listings starting around $157 on SeatGeek. Top 4 seed. A former Canadian Open champion. A rematch connected to their earlier Miami meeting. And the market was saying $157. That is not simply the price of an unattractive matchup. It reveals how heavily the secondary market had been built around Ila's presence. Watch the timeline compress. Saturday. Vendors holding inventory at premium markups. Sunday night. 6-4, 6-0, and inventory value begins falling fast. Monday morning. SeatGeek listings scrape the floor. One match. One player. One dramatic collapse. And the context makes it even more striking. Social media commentary from inside Sobe Stadium suggested that some Filipino fans did not applaud several of Bencic's winners, including during the second set bagel. Fan reels were already circulating with comments about a champion producing her cleanest tennis in front of an audience that had come primarily for someone else. That tells you everything about who was actually in the building. The audience that made those tickets valuable was not necessarily a general tennis audience that would automatically return for any great quarterfinal. It was an Ila audience. When Ila left, much of the demand left with her. This is the part serious tennis fans understood weeks ago. You saw the sellout numbers and knew this was not automatically proof of a complete WTA renaissance. You saw the crowd composition and understood that much of the surge was driven by a specific player, a specific community, and a specific moment. The Toronto resale market simply discovered that reality the hard way. And now the resale floor is confirming what many of you were saying in the comments before it became fashionable to admit it. There is a pattern here, and it is not new. The 2025 WTA Finals in Riyadh became a global embarrassment because of the empty seats. Indian Wells 2025 produced another viral empty stadium moment during a Sabalenka match. The Tennis Gazette has documented the pattern, and the WTA's 2026 response appears to be leaning even harder on single-star demand engines. Ila in Toronto, Goff on home soil, Sabalenka wherever the marketing team can build the biggest spotlight. Toronto is what happens when that strategy collides with a Sunday night 6-0 second set. And the resellers get no soft landing. Ontario's provincial government is reportedly probing ticketing practices involving major resale platforms for Toronto-hosted events. CBC News has reported inspections and cancellations during the same period as this tournament. The operators sitting on quarterfinal inventory they cannot move are now facing pressure from a market collapse while regulators examine the wider ticketing environment. Underwater on one side and under scrutiny on the other. Here is what makes the situation even more striking. The information was never hidden. The WTA itself named Belinda Bencic its 2025 Comeback Player of the Year. The organization's own coverage described her return as the mother of all comebacks. This was not a niche tennis blog. It was the sport's governing body highlighting the story of a former champion who returned after becoming a mother and rebuilt herself at the highest level. Yet Toronto's resale market treated that same player as an afterthought, with quarterfinal tickets falling toward the $157 floor. When the governing body of your sport is promoting a player as one of its defining comeback stories while the secondary market prices her quarterfinal at bargain levels, the problem may be bigger than the player herself. It exposes the weakness of a model that relies too heavily on one superstar to generate demand. The SeatGeek number tells a story that reaches far beyond Toronto. Cincinnati is next. The US Open follows shortly after. Ila's Filipino demand engine will travel with her to Cincinnati and New York, and the same secondary market operators who just learned an expensive lesson in Ontario will have to decide whether they want to repeat the strategy. Meanwhile, the tour is entering one of its biggest hard-court stretches of the season with the attendance question still unresolved. Riyadh exposed the problem. Indian Wells amplified it. Toronto has now underlined it through the resale market. Watch 3 things over the next 21 days. First, watch what Bencic does against Coco Gauff. It is a Miami quarterfinal rematch, and Bencic has already proven she can challenge Gauff at this level. Second, watch the Cincinnati draw and see whether tournament directors continue building their ticket strategy around individual stars rather than the overall strength of the field. Third, watch the regulatory situation in Ontario and whether authorities identify operators connected to questionable ticketing practices. If Bencic wins tonight, that $157 price will look very different. It will not represent a quiet quarterfinal anymore. It could become the price the market paid for one of the biggest upsets of the tournament and one of the most expensive lessons of the WTA season. But none of this is guaranteed. Gauff leads the head-to-head 4-2, and she defeated Bencic at Wimbledon this year after Bencic took the opening set. Bencic is also coming into the match after a grueling 3-hour-plus battle against Taylor Townsend earlier in the week. That kind of match can leave even an elite athlete with heavy legs. She is 31 years old, a mother to her young daughter Bella, and she has already shown that her comeback is far more than a marketing story. After beating Townsend, Bencic described the match as a major battle and praised her opponent's difficult style. There were no excuses and no fatigue narrative. She simply went home, recovered, returned to the court, and delivered a 6-0 second set in her next match. Whatever happens tonight, that is the version of Bencic the market priced at $157. A former champion, comeback player of the year, a mother who rebuilt her career, and a player who just walked into a quarterfinal that the resale market had seemingly decided was not worth much without Ila. The bigger question is what this says about women's tennis in 2026. Are fans buying tickets because they love the sport, or because they are following one particular star? Is the WTA building sustainable demand, or simply moving its biggest crowds from player to player? And if Bencic beats Gauff in a half-empty stadium, who is responsible for that emptiness? The vendors who misjudged the inventory? The WTA for relying too heavily on individual stars? Or the fans who only show up when their favorite player or national flag is on the court? Pick one. Defend it in the comments. And if you were one of the people who predicted this collapse before the resale numbers reached the floor, this is where the receipts get kept. Subscribe and make your prediction before the first ball is struck. Winner, set score, and whether the cameras show the empty seats or quietly edit around them. The people who called Sunday's bagel are the same people watching what happens next.